recently the trailer for the Black Ops 3 Zombies was released, and I kind of want to talk about the Call of Duty Zombies just in general, not necessarily Black Ops 3 Zombies. In the background, it's just a video of me playing Moon on Black Ops 1. So I've been a fan of Call of Duty Zombies pretty much since Black Ops. I didn't really play it much in World at War, if at all, actually. And I think Black Ops is really where the Nazi zombie community really kind of got really big. And it's pretty obvious that the development team picked up on that because the maps have gotten much more in-depth than what they were in the past. And I would say that the Black Ops 3 trailer also shows that. I've seen the trailer a few times and it looks amazing, but I'll talk about some of the, I guess, worries I have a little later. But let's talk about the trailer for now. The trailer almost seems to be advertising like it has some kind of, like it's a story mode, but I don't think that's the case because, for one, I remember thinking the same thing in Black Ops 2, and I think a lot of other people thought the same thing. And what we got was, I guess the closest thing they had to a story mode was Transit. And if you've played that, well, you would know that is clearly not a story mode. So I think I'm gonna rule out the possibility of this being any kind of story mode for zombies. However, I am curious about the story, or more so how they will show it to the players. Because in the past, the story was mostly, it was really the only way you could figure out or learn anything about the story was doing the Easter eggs, and to the average player, the Easter eggs were too cryptic and too difficult. So the most I ever learned about the story was watching videos. I used to know the story a lot better, but I've kind of forgot it over the years. But I do think that the story kind of lost its way after a while, because Black Ops 2 was actually, I think, supposed to be a different story. But later on, when people found out more of the story, then they figured out that it wasn't actually a different story. It was still, I mean, it was different people, but it was still, like, the same timeline. And personally, for me, I think that it's time for them to end the story. So I'm hoping it'll be something different. I guess I won't really complain if it's the same story, because really, I play it just for the entertainment. The story is kind of just like a side note. So enough about the story. I'm curious about the new stuff like the candy machine and the new power-ups, but I guess we'll figure that out later in the future. One thing that definitely stuck out to me was the boss fight, and it seems like, I don't want to say that they're stealing ideas, but it seems like this is somewhat related to Killing Floor 2, where they're introducing boss fights and that. So I'm curious about how the boss fight is going to work, because I remember in Mob of the Dead Call of the Dead, there was George Romero, and that was kind of supposed to be a boss, but I wouldn't consider him a boss because he was just kind of an extra thing that was always there. Moon has the astronauts. Mob of the Dead, yeah. The Mob of the Dead had the Warden, and from what I saw in the trailer, this looks more like an actual boss fight than what these were. This seems more like something that shows up for a round. Maybe this is replacing the dog rounds. Maybe after you kill it, you get a free perk, max ammo, you know, the usual stuff. Another thing I also noticed in the trailer was they showed the shield, and I guess I don't know if this is necessarily a crafting item, but the shield was something that you could craft in Black Ops 2, and I kind of hope that they don't have the crafting system, because In Black Ops 2, I thought it was so cool when I heard about the crafting system, but then later on, I found out that the crafting system was just a pain in the butt to annoy you. I'll admit that it wasn't the worst thing in the world all the time. I feel like in Mob of the Dead, it was actually done fairly well for the Blundergat upgrade, but for the most part, when they start making basically mandatory things where you have to craft them, like the fact that you had to craft the power switch in order to turn on the power, that's when it gets really out of hand. So I guess I'm not entirely against the crafting system as long as the crafting or the craftable stuff is just extra stuff, then I guess I'll be okay with it then, but I just don't want it to feel like the basic stuff is being dragged out because you have to search for parts around in a room. I would say overall, Black Ops 2 was kind of a disappointment to me. I like the fact that they were trying to make it more difficult because even when I was playing Moon, after about round 10, or whenever it was when I got in the biodome, I was pretty much thinking, well, I guess I beat the game, now it's just a matter of walking around in circles. So I don't care that it's more difficult. I don't want it to be stupidly difficult, obviously. But the problem I had with Black Ops 2 is similar to the crafting system. It just made somewhat simple stuff overly complicated. I remember in Buried, you had to go through a house with a witch that stole all your points, and unless you had a ray gun or knew what you were doing, I did not, you generally got through the building with significantly less points, if any. I just don't want it to feel like it's a challenge to get from point A to point B. This brings up Die Rise, where if you wanted to get from building A to building B, well, you had to go through about 2 more buildings, ride an elevator, and then you're there. If you wanted to get from building B to building A, well, that was as simple as making a jump. I don't want to have to walk through a maze to get to a perk. If there's something else on the other side, like a room or more hallways, then I guess I'd be okay with that. But I don't want to go on some kind of trek just to get one perk when I'm gonna be there for 5 seconds and then just instantly leave. And I really think it was things like this that made me lose interest in the game. For something that used to be casual, well, it takes a little more extra time and a bit of a struggle in order to do something. But I don't want to complain too much because I already stated that I'm okay with them making it difficult, but I still really like the casual aspect that I had in the older Call of Duty Zombies. So unfortunately, I didn't like Black Ops 2 Zombies as much as I hoped. Hopefully Black Ops 3 Zombies will be a sort of a revival for me. I just hope that it will be a nice balance between casual gameplay and difficult gameplay. So this is just a quick video that I wanted to make. I guess the hour-and-a-half gameplay that I recorded of me playing Moon kind of went to waste, but I guess this kind of gave me a reason to go back and play it, and I guess that was a good enough reason for me anyways. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you later. Bye.